Hey guys, welcome back. I just wanted to do another quick video today on service and support for your guitar purchase and just how important is service and support. It's certainly, in my opinion, something that's grossly overlooked. I know, the market that I cater to with most of the guitars that I buy and review on this channel are mid-tier to lower-tier priced instruments, right? Targeting novices, home hobbyists, folks that aren't professional guitar players. Let's face it, right? You want me to say shitty guitar players? I'll shit. No, I will never say that. So I consider myself, somebody that can play a guitar certainly, but not confident and good enough to certainly want to play out or record or anything of that nature. I enjoy it. I fill my spare time playing. It's a hobby, and it's something that I'm very, very passionate about. And I'm sure there are a lot of folks that are on this channel or follow this channel that are in the same boat. So when I look at a mid to lower price guitar, and I'm going to even say a lower or moderately priced guitar instrument, obviously playability is important, quality of the guitar, the components are important, neck feel, sound, all that stuff is very, very important. And I've mentioned that time and time again in the videos that I've made. If something doesn't feel comfortable or sound good, you're not going to want to play it, and you won't play it. You'll just let it be a piece of art in your office or home rather than an instrument that you're enjoying and playing. So that's a given. That's an obvious one, right? It's got to be a decent quality instrument and comfortable to play and something that's pleasing to your ears, that sounds good. But I think something that's grossly overlooked is service and support, which you also have to take into consideration, which most people don't. I mean, nowadays, most of these instruments with CNC technology and the manufacturing process being much better than it was years ago, most of the instruments you buy more than likely are going to be okay out of the box. You're going to need setups, you're going to need tweaks, you're going to need some little bit of, tender loving care given to the instrument. But for the most part, by and large, they're decent out of the box, right? They're passable instruments in most cases. But you're going to get ones, especially at the lower end of the spectrum and lower priced instruments, that are going to be lemons. And you may have, some fret issues. You might have string height issues. You might have pickup related issues with the height settings and nuts not cut properly, tuners that are on the guitars having issues. The bridge might have some issues. You can go up and down the list, of potential problems with a budget price guitar. Those, some cases, happen to even expensive instruments. But in any event, when you do encounter these issues, in most cases, if you're a novice or a home hobbyist, you don't have professional skills. You might not know how to remedy the problem, and you're looking for somebody to give you guidance, right? Here is where the problem starts with most of these companies that I'm going to mention to you in a minute. I can go down a list, and it's not just guitar companies. I can go down a list of electricians that I've had in the last year at my home, plumbers that I've had at my home, handymen that I've had at my home, landscapers that I've had at my home, a whole plethora of different types of services-related business that I've encountered throughout the years at my house. And one of the common issues with all of them, or many of them, is accountability, right? They're great getting my business initially and having me sign on the dotted lines. But when it comes to following up on a problem as a result of something that they did or something that I purchased from them as a service or an entity, it's very hard getting them to remedy the problem without a lot of exhaustive work on my end, which is very frustrating. So I think, especially when you're buying a budget instrument and you may be spending $100, $150, $200, $300, whatever it is, it's not something that's going to certainly break the bank. But with this economy the way it is, the state that we're living in, it's money that you could be using for something else And it's, in a lot of cases, money that you do not want to spend and have a headache or not get a return for what you're spending. So service and support is extremely important, in my opinion. And I did a little bit of reality check on this topic. So I've bought, as you know, from this channel, a ton of different manufacturers' instruments around the same price points. Maybe some are, slightly expensive, a little bit more expensive than others. But for the most part, these are not high-end boutique instruments. They're the guitars that I review on the channel that you're pretty familiar with, right? And the companies that play in this space are pretty much the names that you're familiar with as well. Tees, Monoprice, Donner, IYV, Grote or Grote, eArt, Firefly, which is part of Guitars Garden, West Creek. These are names that you're probably somewhat familiar with, right? And I'm going to tell you what my experience it's been, right? And again, mileage may vary depending upon who's calling and what time of day or whatever the case is. But I usually call these companies, I work, and I usually call these companies at the end of the day, typically anywhere between 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock time frame, if I have some time free in that time period. And let me tell you, and if you're hearing crackling noise, it is thunder. I'm having a storm here. Hopefully this will continue to record and not have any issues with a power outage. But let's look at some of these companies, right? Monoprice. Now, Monoprice, Indio guitars. Everybody knows the Indio guitars. A lot of the usual suspects. They make the semi-hollow boardwalks. They make the Strat style guitars, right? The California style guitars, right? Whatever. Tele style guitars. Some acoustics. But Monoprice is an electronics company for the most part, right? They make cables. That's what they're known for. They also sell audio gear, and they've most recently, in the last several years, have come up with selling guitars and expanding that line. Now, when you call Monoprice, they're extremely responsive. I've had no issues getting through to them on the phone, texting them, or sending them an email. In all communication instances, they're responsive. The only problem I have is finding somebody that knows anything about gear and guitars, which I found is zero. These folks are trained to answer the phone, customer service folks, and are not musicians and do not have any guidance that they can provide, knowledge that they can provide to you above and beyond, yeah, it's a guitar and it has 6 strings or 4 strings or whatever it might have on it. So that's the issue I find with that company. Then you can go to a Donner. Donner's website, if anybody of you had any familiar with it, is only email communication. There is no phone and there's no chat. So you send them an email and you're lucky if you get a response back within 5-6 days. And usually it will require, trust me, I've gone through this process, 8 to 10 emails just to make sure they understand even what you're asking, right? It's a foreign company. I understand that. There's a difference, a challenge with language. And the promptness of a response and the accuracy of a response leave a lot to be desired. IYV. They do not have any communications whatsoever that I can come across. I've left them voicemails on their phone number that I had at one point, and I never even got a response back in terms of a returned phone call. I don't see any way to really easily communicate with them on their webpage. And again, they have a new webpage, maybe it's under construction, a US-based webpage that they just put out. And that could be the issue, but it hasn't been terribly responsive. And again, they're out of China, and most of their support comes from there, so there will be a delay in terms of getting back to you anyway, even if you are successful. Fender, forget about it, right? Although the big F word is a known entity, you would think they would have stellar customer service. If you call them up, you're leaving a voicemail. You're not getting through to any live body. You leave a voicemail, you typically don't get any response. I've done that several times without any luck. I've also sent them emails of which they've gotten back to me within 3 weeks of me sending my original email. Which, if you have a 30-day return policy and you're having a problem with a guitar, they don't get back to you right before your return is due, it's not a good thing. So they're not exactly Johnny on the spot with getting back to their customers. Grote or Grote. Texting is the only way that I was able to even attempt to get through to these folks, and I've never had any luck with a response. You get on their website, they have a text thing. It's not live communication. It just says, send it and we'll get back to you shortly type of thing. And then it goes into some, oblivious location where, time stops and you don't get any sort of interaction. eArt, another company that makes extremely nice gear, but occasionally you might have a problem and you might be trying to reach out to them. They don't have an email on their website. They don't have a phone number to call on their website. They just have the same thing as Grote, where you leave something in a chat message, it goes out, and then they'll get back to you, hopefully. And again, I have not had luck hearing back after I've tried to contact them. The last company, or one of the last companies on the list, West Creek, is pretty much dealing with Amazon. They don't even have a website that I could find. So if you have a problem with a West Creek instrument, good luck. Work through Amazon, and as you know, Amazon doesn't have any skilled musicians on staff being able to help you set up a guitar, fix an issue, or ask a general question about an instrument. So the last one, I always save the last for best. This is something I've been doing with my kids as far back as I can remember. Save the best for last is Tees. Now, Tees is a very interesting company, right? Only been in business a little over 2 years. Have been very successful in that short span of time, right? Have been selling a lot of guitars for a relatively small entity. You go to the Tees website, there's a phone number on it. There's an email on it. And there's chat capability. I've tried all three. All three, I've had instantaneous communication, right? Email is unbelievable. I mean, I've sent emails to Tees and I've gotten them back within minutes, which is unheard of. I've sent emails out with questions, and within 10, 15 minutes, I got a return email answering whatever it is that I've had on my mind. The chat is a similar interactive experience, but what's blowing my mind is I've just tested them recently and called them up. And I've heard a lot of things about when you call Tees, in most cases, you're getting the owner, you're getting Torsten on the phone, which is crazy. Where does that happen? So I called him up, and I got Torsten. He answered the phone, and we had a nice conversation. He stayed on the phone with me for 45 minutes, and we had a pleasant discussion. And he's a very, very loyal and proud guy and takes his business extremely serious and knowledgeable, pleasant to deal with, and always wanting to know what he could do to make his product better. This is something that is refreshing and highly unusual in today's business climate, and something that I certainly appreciate as a consumer. So I just wanted to let you know that, out of this little experience and testing that I've done, by far the best company from a service and support standpoint is Tees Guitars. Love to know your experience and experiences. If they differ from me or you agree with me, put whatever your thoughts are in the comments below. If you like these videos, guys, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And any other things that you have on your mind regarding service and support, again, put them below. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. And until the next time, guys, be well and stay safe. Take care. Service and support counts.